So Kylie Jenner quietly deleted her own brand from her Instagram bio, and the internet absolutely noticed. We need to talk about what is going on with Sprinter, her vodka soda that launched 2 years ago with this big splashy Coachella rollout, and then kind of just faded. Because at first, people thought she was pulling a Kylie swim. Remember that? And just quietly pretending it never happened. But then something shifted this week, and now the whole situation looks completely different. We're also going to get into what is actually happening with Kylie Cosmetics, because Kris Jenner went out of her way to defend the brand this week with some numbers that genuinely surprised people. And if you are not already subscribed to this channel, please hit that button right now. We cover stories like this every single week, and you do not want to miss an episode. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start from the beginning, because the Sprinter story has a few layers to it, and it is worth understanding how we got here. Back in March of 2023, Kylie Jenner announced that she was entering the canned beverage market with a vodka soda called Sprinter. She timed the launch specifically around Coachella, which is still considered one of the biggest influencer moments of the year, and the very first major promotional event for Sprinter was at her sister Kourtney Kardashian's Poosh pop-up near the festival grounds. She had the whole family posting about it. Khloe was posting, Kris was posting. The whole machine kicked into gear for this launch. The drink came out in 4 flavors: grapefruit, lime, peach, and black cherry. And it was positioned as a cleaner, lighter option in the hard seltzer space. The problem is that by 2023, the hard seltzer market was already incredibly crowded. White Claw had been dominant since 2018, Truly had a huge following. Dozens of other brands had piled into that same category, and Sprinter launched into all of that without quite enough to make it stand out. It also never generated the same conversation that her sister Kendall's tequila brand, 818, managed to create. Now, 818 had its own controversies. There were questions about whether the tequila was actually made in the region that the name implies, and that caused a whole separate debate online. But people were at least talking about it constantly, arguing about it, which is a kind of publicity. Sprinter never really got that. Interestingly, the two brands actually share a distribution partner, so there is a business connection between them. But in terms of public profile, 818 landed much louder. So this past week, when people who monitor celebrity social media closely noticed that Kylie had removed the Sprinter account tag from her Instagram bio, the first assumption a lot of people jumped to was that this was history repeating itself. And that assumption is not unreasonable, because this has happened before with Kylie's ventures. Kylie Swim launched in 2021 with a lot of fanfare, and almost immediately ran into trouble. Customers were posting side-by-side photos comparing what was advertised versus what they actually received, and the brand became something of a running joke online. It quietly disappeared. Kylie Baby, her line of baby products, also came out to significant fanfare, and then faded from conversation. So when longtime followers of her career saw Sprinter disappear from the bio, they had a pattern to point to. Then people noticed that the actual Sprinter Instagram account had been completely wiped. Not just quiet, wiped. And that felt different from the Good American situation, which is the denim and activewear brand that Khloe co-founded back in 2016 with Emma Grede. Khloe had also removed Good American from her bio around the same time period, and that caused its own wave of confusion. But Good American was still posting, still operating, still building new retail locations in malls. The brand was moving. Sprinter's Instagram going dark felt more final. To give you the update on Good American, because people were confused about that too, US Weekly reported this month that Khloe is still an investor in the company, but she has stepped back from the day-to-day strategy and operations. She is listed as an ambassador now, rather than an active operator, and she has been focusing her time on her podcast and her clothing line. So the brand continues, she just is not running it anymore. To announce that she is co-founding a new energy drink called SKKN. Actually, not SKKN. It is called Update, and it is marketed as a caffeine-free energy drink. The timing of that announcement, right as Kylie was seemingly winding down a beverage brand, struck a lot of people as almost comically coincidental. Like one Kardashian was exiting the drinks category just as another one was entering it. Kim said she had been working on Update for a long time, and that it was not a spontaneous decision, but the optics of the timing were something that people had a field day with online regardless. But here is where the whole Sprinter story takes a turn, because Kylie herself posted about it. She posted with the caption, "We've been working, honey," tagging the Drink Sprinter account, and the Sprinter Instagram posted, "Coming soon." So she was not walking away. She was rebranding, and a TikTok creator who goes by Gay Man with the Spray Tan, if you have not come across him, he does deep dives into celebrity business moves, and he is genuinely good at it. He put together a breakdown suggesting that Kylie has trademarked the name K2O as a dietary supplement drink. So the theory is that Sprinter is transitioning from an alcoholic beverage into something more in the wellness and hydration space, closer to what something like Liquid IV does. Kylie actually commented on his video and said, "Damn, you are good," which is essentially a confirmation without being an official statement. By the weekend, she had already done a photo shoot for the new product, so this is moving fast. And in hindsight, removing it from her bio starts to look less like abandonment and more like a deliberate way to get people asking questions right before a relaunch. Whether that was actually the plan all along, or whether she is just good at making a necessary pivot look intentional, is something we will probably never know for certain. But that brings us to the bigger, longer-running conversation about Kylie Jenner and her brands, because Kylie Cosmetics has been the subject of a lot of skepticism for a while now. When Kylie first launched the business in 2015 with her lip kits, the demand was unlike almost anything the beauty industry had seen from an independent celebrity brand. The site would crash during drops. Products would sell out in minutes. It was a genuine cultural moment, and it made her one of the youngest self-made billionaires, or youngest billionaires by certain definitions, in American history, depending on whose numbers you believe and how you count it. That was 10 years ago. The beauty industry in 2025 looks completely different. There are hundreds of celebrity beauty brands. Selena Gomez launched Rare Beauty in 2020, and it has become arguably the most beloved celebrity brand on the market right now, with a very loyal following that talks about it constantly. Hailey Bieber's Rhode Skin has broken through in a major way, particularly with younger consumers. Fenty Beauty, which Rihanna launched in 2018, changed the entire conversation around shade range and inclusion in the industry. The space is genuinely competitive now, in a way that it was not when Kylie started. So where does all of this leave things? Kylie is rebranding Sprinter into what sounds like a wellness drink. Kylie Cosmetics is either quietly thriving on a global scale or being kept on life support, depending on who you ask. And the brand just announced new products coming. And we got a small window this week into how the Kris Jenner machine operates when it feels like one of its brands needs defending. I want to know what you think. Do you believe those Kylie Cosmetics numbers? Or does it feel like something that only exists on paper? Are you curious about the K2O rebrand? Or do you think this is just Sprinter getting a new label? And do you think Khloe made the right call stepping back from Good American? Or is that a brand she should have stayed more involved with? Drop everything in the comments below. I read them all, and I genuinely want to hear where you land on this. And if you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit the button and the bell, and I will see you in the next video.